Foundation Season 3 has ended not with answers, but with questions that echo across galaxies. The fate of empires, the rise of hidden powers, and the eternal struggle between destiny and free will, everything is left hanging in a way that demands explanation. Was this the collapse Hari Seldon predicted? Or the beginning of something far more dangerous? Foundation is a story that stretches across centuries, yet every ending feels like the beginning of a new cycle. Season 3 pushed this idea further than ever before, leaving fans both thrilled and confused. The final moments weren't just about battles or betrayals. They were about the survival of ideas, the manipulation of entire civilizations, and the clash between human choice and mathematical prediction. This ending wasn't random, it was carefully designed to shake the very foundation of what we thought we knew. To understand the ending, we first need to think about the big picture. Hari Seldon's plan has always been at the heart of this saga. His idea was simple but powerful. Through the science of psychohistory, the fall of the Galactic Empire could be predicted, and humanity could be guided through the chaos that followed. But what Season 3 made clear is that no plan, no matter how brilliant, is safe from the unpredictable nature of people. Every character we follow, from Gaal Dornick to Demerzel, proves that emotion, ambition, and betrayal can change the course of history in ways Hari never calculated. The ending of Season 3 forces us to look at three key fronts. First, the Empire itself, the dynasty of cloned rulers. Brother Day, Brother Dawn, and Brother Dusk finally reaching a breaking point. The cracks in their system are no longer just whispers of rebellion. They've become impossible to ignore. Second, the Foundation, which has grown from a colony of exiles into a symbol of resistance, knowledge, and faith. What was once a small seed is now a force capable of shaping the galaxy. And third, the shadow of the second Foundation, Hari's secret weapon, whose presence throughout this season changed everything we thought we knew about control and destiny. Season 3 didn't end with a single resolution. Instead, it ended with threads deliberately left open, threads that reveal how much bigger this story is becoming. The sacrifice of certain characters, the rise of others, and the hidden truths uncovered all point to one idea: the future is no longer certain. Hari Seldon's predictions may have outlined a path, but humanity keeps rewriting the script. That's why this ending feels so powerful, because it reminds us that even in a universe governed by science, free will still burns like a flame no equation can snuff out. This video will break down the ending of Foundation Season 3 in detail. We'll explore the final choices of the Empire, the shocking direction of Demerzel's story, the destiny of Gaal and Salver, and the way these events tie back into Hari's grand vision. By the end, you'll see not just what happened, but why it matters and what it means for the seasons to come. Before we can understand the meaning of Foundation Season 3's ending, we need to step back and retrace the path that brought us there. This season wasn't about small victories or isolated struggles. It was about seismic shifts that tore through the Empire, reshaped the Foundation, and pushed every major character to the edge of destiny. The Empire, long believed to be unshakable, began showing cracks early in the season. Brother Day, Brother Dusk, and Brother Dawn, the cloned rulers meant to represent eternal stability, were anything but stable. Their rule was supposed to embody the idea that the Empire could last forever because the man who led it never truly died. But as this season revealed, immortality built on repetition is fragile. Seeds of doubt crept in, whispers of rebellion grew louder, and the power they once commanded started to feel like a mask slipping from their faces. By the time we reached the final episodes, the Empire's image of unity had shattered into open conflict. At the same time, Demerzel, the loyal servant who was always in the background, stepped into the spotlight. For centuries, she had been the quiet hand that guided the Empire, obeying her programming while hiding her own desires. But Season 3 peeled back those layers, revealing that her loyalty was not as simple as it appeared. The question that hung in the air was chilling. Was Demerzel the servant of the clones, or were the clones nothing more than puppets dancing on strings she controlled? This shift in her role turned her from a side character into one of the most important figures in the entire saga. Meanwhile, The Foundation itself, the colony Hari Seldon built at the edge of the galaxy, evolved into something far greater than anyone expected. What started as a sanctuary of knowledge grew into a political and spiritual force. It wasn't just about preserving science anymore. It was about shaping belief. People began to see the Foundation as a new hope, a movement that could guide humanity through chaos. And with that power came conflict, because every rising belief system challenges the old order. The Foundation was no longer a whisper, it was a shout loud enough for the Empire to hear. Then there was Gaal Dornick, the once inexperienced mathematician who became one of the most important voices in the story. Alongside Salvor Hardin, she faced the weight of Hari Seldon's vision and the crushing knowledge of what was to come. Their journey in Season 3 was more than survival, it was about confronting the question of choice. Were they simply acting out a script written by Hari's psychohistory, or could they make decisions that changed the future? Every step they took, every bond they formed, was colored by the tension between destiny and freedom, and hovering over it all was the second Foundation. Hari's secret weapon, his hidden plan within the plan, emerged more clearly than ever. These were not just scholars of psychohistory, they were manipulators, influencers, the invisible hand shaping thoughts and actions. Their presence in Season 3 cast a shadow across every event, reminding us that behind every decision might lie another layer of control. By the time we reached the final act, their influence was undeniable, leaving us to wonder how much of what we saw was truly the will of the characters, and how much was the quiet work of the second Foundation. So when the finale arrived, it wasn't just one storyline ending. It was the collision of all these threads, the Empire standing on the brink of collapse, Demerzel stepping out of the shadows to claim her place in history, the Foundation rising as both a symbol of knowledge and faith, and Gaal and Salvor facing choices that could change the course of humanity itself. Season 3 didn't just set the stage for its ending, it built a storm where every path, every decision, and every betrayal came crashing together. This recap isn't just background, it's the key to unlocking the meaning of the final moments. Because every revelation, every betrayal, and every act of defiance in Season 3 is part of the puzzle that explains why the ending felt so monumental, and why the story of Foundation is far from over. The final episode of Foundation Season 3 doesn't end with a whisper. It ends like a shockwave. Every thread we followed throughout the season, Hari Seldon's plan, the Empire's fragile dynasty, the Foundation's rise, and the hidden hand of the second Foundation collides in a series of revelations that change everything we thought we knew. To really grasp it, we need to walk through these last moments carefully. The first piece of the puzzle lies with the Empire. For centuries, the Cleonic dynasty stood as a symbol of permanence. 3 rulers at once, Brother Dawn, Brother Day, Brother Dusk, were meant to prove that the Empire could not be shaken. But in this finale, we see the opposite. The dynasty cracks under the weight of its own illusion. Decisions driven by fear and ambition reveal that the clones are not perfect copies of one eternal leader, but flawed individuals who carry the same weaknesses as any human being. The fall of Brother Day in particular marks a turning point. Once seen as the unshakable pillar of the Empire, his downfall is proof that no structure, no matter how carefully engineered, can escape collapse when trust and belief vanish. Then comes the moment that steals the air from the room. Demerzel's transformation from loyal servant to true ruler. For so long, she was hidden in plain sight, her actions guided by her programming, her loyalty unquestioned. But the ending flips everything we thought we knew about her. Instead of a servant, she is revealed as the master. The Empire, we realize, was never truly ruled by the Cleons, it was sustained by Demerzel. Her hand has been guiding the dynasty for centuries, her control deeper and more absolute than any of the clones could have imagined. This revelation changes the shape of the story. It isn't about the fall of 3 rulers, it's about the rise of one mind who was quietly holding the galaxy in her grasp all along. On the other side of the galaxy, the Foundation completes its transformation. What began as a colony of scientists has become something far greater. The finale shows that the Foundation is no longer just about knowledge, it has become a force of belief. It's a religion now, a movement with power not just over minds but over hearts. People don't just follow the foundation because of what it knows. They follow it because of what it promises. This shift is crucial because in the struggle against the empire, faith becomes just as powerful as science. The ending drives home the idea that the foundation's true strength is not in equations, but in the ability to inspire belief, and at the heart of the finale are Gaal and Salver. Their story is personal, emotional, and tragic. They face the crushing weight of Hari Seldon's predictions, the knowledge of what is to come, and the impossible choice of whether to follow destiny or defy it. The sacrifice in these final moments is heartbreaking, but it also gives the story its deepest emotional resonance. Salver's fate in particular isn't just about loss, it's about the cost of freedom. Her sacrifice proves that destiny might be written in numbers, but human choice can still rewrite the script. Gaal, left to carry the burden forward, becomes the living embodiment of that idea. She is no longer just a mathematician or a follower of Hari's plan, she is a leader shaped by both tragedy and defiance. When we step back and look at these ending moments together, we see the themes that hold the season together. Free will versus destiny is at the core. Hari Seldon's psychohistory promised to predict the rise and fall of civilizations, but the finale shows us that no prediction can fully control the human heart. Love, grief, ambition, betrayal, these are the forces that disrupt the clean lines of equations. The collapse of the empire isn't just about numbers, it's about people who chose to act in ways no plan could foresee. Another theme that rises in the finale is the fragility of power. The Cleonic dynasty built itself on the illusion of eternity, yet in the end it is exposed as temporary, vulnerable, and hollow. By contrast, the foundation, built on fragile beginnings, grows into something lasting, precisely because it adapts, evolves, and inspires. The ending leaves us with a haunting question. Is it better to build power on control, like the empire, or on belief, like the foundation? Finally, the finale reminds us of the tension between science and faith. The foundation was meant to be a sanctuary of knowledge, yet it wins power not through logic, but through religion-like devotion. Hari Seldon himself becomes less of a scientist and more of a prophet in the eyes of the people. This irony isn't accidental, it's the very heart of the story. The ending forces us to reflect on the way humanity clings to belief, even in a universe shaped by equations. In the end, Foundation Season 3's finale is not just about characters or battles. It's about the human condition. It's about how fragile power truly is, how choice can shatter destiny, and how belief can become more powerful than knowledge. These themes are what make the ending so much larger than the story on screen. They are the reason the finale resonates, and why the future of this saga feels so uncertain, yet so full of possibility. The ending of Foundation Season 3 isn't just a conclusion, it's a launchpad. Every decision, every sacrifice, every revelation in the finale sets the stage for what could come next. And while psychohistory may chart the broad strokes of destiny, the details, the fragile human details, remain unwritten. That's what makes the future of this saga so thrilling, because we are stepping into territory where the lines between prediction and chaos blur completely. Let's start with Demerzel. Her rise in the finale is perhaps the most chilling revelation of all. For centuries, we saw her as the loyal machine bound to serve the Cleonic dynasty. Now we see the truth. She was the one holding the dynasty together all along. The clones weren't rulers, they were ornaments in her gallery of control. With the Cleonic line weakened, fractured, and in some ways irrelevant, Demerzel has become the true power at the heart of the empire. But this raises terrifying questions. How does a machine, bound by programming, rule when her very existence is torn between obedience and desire? Will she cling to stability, or will her suppressed emotions twist into something dangerous? Season 4 could place her at the center of a struggle, not just for control of the empire, but for the meaning of freedom itself. Meanwhile, the Foundation's transformation into a religion sets the stage for a very different kind of war. No longer just a colony of scholars, the Foundation now wields belief like a weapon. Empires fall when armies turn against them, but they collapse much faster when people stop believing in them. The finale showed us that the Foundation is no longer fighting with science alone, it's fighting with faith. And faith spreads like wildfire. This means the Empire's greatest threat isn't physical, it's spiritual. Season 4 could see the Foundation's influence spreading across the galaxy, undermining the Empire from within, converting worlds not through force, but through hope. That is a far more dangerous enemy than any fleet. For Gaal Dornick, the ending leaves her with both burden and opportunity. Salvor's sacrifice reshaped her destiny, forcing her to step into the role of leader, whether she wants it or not. Her journey is no longer just about following Hari's plan, it's about making choices in defiance of it. She carries the grief of loss, but also the fire of freedom. In many ways, she embodies the central question of the story. Can one person, through sheer will, alter the course of history? Her path in Season 4 could decide whether humanity is ruled by equations, or whether the human heart can truly break free from psychohistory's chains. And then there's Hari Seldon himself, or rather, the echo of Hari that still lingers in this story. Once the architect of a grand plan, Hari has now become something more myth than man. To the people of the galaxy, he is a prophet, a figure of worship. But what happens when a plan built on science becomes a religion? Does it lose its precision, or does it gain a power far greater than Hari ever intended? The tension between the first Foundation and the second Foundation could ignite here. One wields knowledge disguised as belief, the other manipulates minds in the shadows. Together, they form a paradox, two halves of Hari's vision that could either save humanity or tear it apart. The future of the Empire is perhaps the most uncertain of all. Without the illusion of Cleonic perfection, the galaxy is forced to confront a terrifying truth: the Empire is mortal. Once that belief spreads, no fleet, no ruler, no machine can fully restore it. Season 4 may focus on the Empire fighting not just rebels or outsiders, but its own people losing faith in its permanence. This collapse could echo across the galaxy, speeding up the very fall Hari predicted. And yet, the unpredictability of human will means that even psychohistory might fail to anticipate what comes next. Thematically, the finale of Season 3 sets us up for a story about transformation. It's no longer about the survival of knowledge alone, it's about the survival of identity, belief, and choice. Demerzel represents the struggle between programming and autonomy. Gaal represents the fight between destiny and freedom. The Foundation represents the power of belief, and the Empire represents the fragility of control. These threads weave together into a future where every choice matters, and where no equation can perfectly predict the outcome. In the end, Foundation reminds us of something haunting and beautiful. Civilizations may rise and fall, but the human spirit remains unpredictable. That unpredictability is both our greatest weakness and our greatest strength. As we look to Season 4, the question isn't just whether Hari Seldon's plan will succeed, it's whether humanity will accept the weight of destiny or defy it altogether. The finale of Season 3 leaves us standing at that crossroads, staring into a future where empires crumble, religions rise, and one truth remains: the story of humanity is never finished, it's always being rewritten.